Oh, welcome back everybody to Katawa Shoujo with me, Millbee, and this is episode 20 something. Man, I'm bursting these out today. I am seriously into this game right now. Shizune seems excited for... Oh yeah, we just did this, didn't we? Oh yeah, so last time we were doing... Man, she's got like little vampire fangs going on there. Last time we just sorted ourselves into groups to do some work, and Hanako was joining me, Misha, and Shizune. And there you go. Okay. The music in this is always like a strange mix of loud and quiet. Da 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 da. That's the beginning song. Ba da da ba da da da. It's like a happy version. I like the music in this. Got the soundtrack to it. Hanako gently sits her desk down in front of Misha's. Her eyes are locked downwards, and I'm left wondering why until I look around the class. Most are busy setting up their own groups, but a few are casting curious glances at her. At this range, it's hard to tell whether that is where their interest in her ends, or if they are talking about her as well. It's strange, no one bats an eyelid when Hanako runs out of class to avoid group work, but now she's making an effort, they're staring at her as if she's done something wrong. We all move to sort ourselves out, spreading out our textbooks and worksheets around the larger surface created by the 4 joined desks. It isn't long before the class as a whole gets down to work. Hi Hanako, it's nice to finally work with you. Yeah. Are you the reason Hichan has been avoiding us lately? Shichan says it's a little rude, but if Hichan wants to spend time with a cute girl, it's understandable. Oh god, it's it's time for her to make everything super awkward. I don't think it's like that. Hanako starts to fidget and used to this kind of attention. I think that an ordinary person would drop the conversation by now, but Misha is like the antithesis of Hanako. Part of that includes being blind to the ordinary social cues, while Hanako is overly sensitive to them. Because of that, Misha barrels ahead with the questions too quickly for me to get a chance to interject and guide the discussion somewhere more comfortable. Really? Though he hasn't hung out with you yesterday? No. I can feel my cover blown already. Lily didn't want Hanako to know what we were out buying her presents for. Lily didn't want Hanako to know that we were out buying presents for her, let alone planning out her birthday party. It wouldn't be good for her to find out. Yeah, I was doing something else. You know how it is. Really? I wonder what was so important for Hichan to blow us off like that. If it wasn't to spend time with Hanako, then who else could it be? It's really interesting. Gosh, she's a fucking little shit stirrer, she is. Now it's starting to feel like an interrogation. I'm surprised at how Misha is able to exert such a feeling of pressure without actually intending to. Were you with Lily? Oh, Christ. Out of nowhere, Hanako manages to stumble on the answer. She may be dreadfully quiet and shy, but she's very intuitive. What makes you say that? Yesterday, Lily said something similar. Suspicions, Hichan. I demanded you explain yourself. Oh my god, what? Hey, shouldn't we be doing the assignment? But it's so mysterious, even Hanako wants to know. I turn to look at Hanako. It's true, from the expression, I think she thinks that we were like on a date or something. It's true, from the expression on her face, it's obvious that she wants to know as well. And I think we're past the point where I could weasel out of having to provide an explanation. I apologize to Lily in my mind. Sorry. She really did want to keep it a secret, but now it doesn't seem possible anymore. I feel a rush of conflicting emotions, so jumbled that I can't really identify them, but they crash around in my head as I try to calm down and speak. Alright, I'll tell you. I went to town with Lily, but it wasn't what you think. No, I went to town with Lily, but it wasn't what you think. Lily and I were, for Hanako's birthday, the cat is out of the bag. But it looks like Hanako is taking it a little better than I thought she would. A brief silence passes around our little group as Shizune and Misha look at each other sheepishly. I can tell that they didn't expect their game to turn out like this. Misha looks up to Hanako in order to apologize, then pauses. Hanako is staring at the middle of her desk and barely moving. A maudlin expression on her face. I guess I was wrong about her taking it well. Hanako? I'm sorry. There's a few seconds pause, but Hanako lifts and shakes her head. It's okay. Her expression looks odd, like she's very tired. It doesn't seem natural. But it's nothing alarming. Nobody really wants to continue the current conversation. This is awkward as fuck. So, we open our textbooks and begin our group work. It's pretty dull. It's just like, well done you two, you fucking fucked it up. We're supposed to work out as a group. Will take a while. Most of it's going to be boringly mechanical. It also doesn't help that while we didn't get as bad as it could have, it has left an awkward atmosphere around us. Still, we manage. Shizune's face betrays that she has about the same expectations of our work as I do, and the two of us begin to write our group results. Misha, on the other hand, is scrunching up her lips and very visibly trying to make heads or tails of what we were doing. This music is kind of eerie. Hanako is looking on quietly, absorbing what we write and what I say. She usually has this same expression when the teacher speaks. This music is making things very eerie. It's a shame her attendance is so unreliable. The way she takes in information, I think she'd do quite well in class, if she actually followed the lessons regularly. I wonder if this might be why Shizune seems so hard on her. Hey, Hanako, do you understand this? Misha looks to Hanako, but I suspect her hope is more to find a comrade in ignorance rather than genuine help. Not really, I guess. I'm surprised by how tense she is in answering. But she settles back down, she breathes out, and the way her upper body and head lower reminds me of a deflating balloon. This music is making me feel awful. You okay? I could go over this bit if you want. Hanako shakes her head slightly, but then again, I don't think she needs the extra explanation, despite what she said. Misha quickly interjects, entirely oblivious, and I end up slowly going through how we ended up at one of our results step by step. Times like this remind me that this music is really, making me on edge. Times like this remind me that the kind of work may not be mechanical for everyone, but rather feels like that way to me due to my grasp of the subject. It's a satisfying feeling. It's called smug. As Misha brings her bald fist into an open hand in realization, I discover another nice feeling. My explanation got through to her, and she manages to work out the next equation by herself with a minimum of guidance. Throughout all of this, Hanako is unusually responsive. She's normally very quiet, but one can still see her eyes roving periodically over the landscape of the classroom in front of her, or anxiously moving her hands in some way, or shifting her shoulders periodically. Right now, these small movements that I've gotten used to seeing are all missing. Someone not moving at all is definitely weird. Even Misha can tell there's something wrong. I think this thing, the burn thing, the accident with the fire may have happened on her birthday. Hanako, are you sure you're okay? Yes. Are you sure? I'm fine. A little more strongly this time. I'm fine. A little more strongly this time. But she turns away as she says it. It only makes me doubt her answer, yet at the same time, I can tell she doesn't want to talk about it further. Having already had one awkward conversation today, I'm still not fully over. I don't want to pursue the matter too much either. We settle back into our routine and debating over our answers whenever a doubt comes up. But as time goes on, I notice that Hanako isn't talking at all. It's frustrating. She has made so much progress. Makes me a little angry at Shizune and Misha for undoing the surprise Lily had wanted to keep secret so much. I know I'm at fault too, but maybe I could have just kept it under wraps somehow. Shizune has noticed it, or Hanako's silence as well, and she is also getting antsy. I can see it on her face. It's strange that even though she's deaf, Shizune has perceived Hanako's unusual quietness sooner than Misha. Hanako, you're being too quiet. You have to contribute too. Uh-oh. Someday we might work on a bigger project like this, like one that's so big it's worth celebrating afterwards, like with ice cream or cake. If you act like this, we won't take you along. Oh. I can tell they're trying to tease her to bring her out of her shell, but I don't think that's the kind of approach that will work on Hanako. It will just make her feel worse. Guys, don't tease her like that. Hey Chan, it's all in good fun. Shi-chan says she teases everyone anyway. They do back off, though, with Misha moving away from the issue by asking me a question again. On seeing how difficult the problem she is with, this music is so fucking weak, making me uncomfortable. I feel like Hanako's about to get up and like run out. I don't know whether it was skillful dodge or mere coincidence. It takes way more of our time than necessary because Shizune keeps disagreeing with me while I'm trying to explain it to Misha. And Misha is quick to believe her over me. So in fact, she forgets to translate what she's so quick in fact that she forgets to translate what Shizune is saying. Hey, the clock is kind of ticking down. We should speed up a little. Hey-chan, you sound a little like shit-chan there. Just because I looked at my watch? Jeez, is that really all it takes? Time management and suddenly I'm the student council president? Oh dear. Uh-oh. I look at Hanako's desk to see how she's doing and free. I'm getting way too attached to this stuff. Our papers are covered in equations, but Hanako's only halfway there. It seems like she hasn't written anything in the past 20 minutes. When I realize that, I want to kick myself for how dumb I've been. I should have known that someone as fragile as Hanako wasn't just going to brush off what happened so easily. But I've been too eager to move on from that awkward situation to notice. She's been slowly shutting down for the last half hour, and I had no clue. Her pen is still in her hand. She doesn't slowly spin it around like she usually does. There isn't a single idle movement from Hanako. Ah, the feels! Ah! Only the fact that she tries to inch away once she feels Shizune, Misha, and I looking at her tells me that she's even still conscious. We look away, and at least in my case, it's partly out of shame that it's gotten to this point. Though on the outside she is shut down almost completely, I know that it's a different story on the inside. What kind of things could she be thinking about as she tries harder and harder to shrink into herself, as if by willing it, she could somehow disappear? Everyone is looking at her now, stealing quick glances in between putting the finishing touches on their work. Misha attempts to ask her what's wrong, but that only makes the problem worse. If she weren't frozen to her seat, she would probably run out of the room right now. Misha's questions are loud enough to be heard throughout the entire classroom, and for a second I'm ready to snap at her because I can only imagine how much worse it's making Hanako feel. Of course, if I were to do that, it would only make the situation worse. I believe that Hanako had gotten stronger, and she has, but it wasn't enough, and I was too eager to believe it. Now she's terrified, alone in the middle of the classroom, and there's nothing I can do without drawing more attention to her. It's infuriating. Misha's worried, and even Shizune is biting her lip. She's gonna have a total mental breakdown in a minute. None of us know how to deal with this situation, so I decided to call Muto. His judgment would probably be better than ours. I look up and manage to catch his eye, silently motioning for him to come over. I want to make as little fuss about this as possible, since if there's anything that would make this worse, it's more attention being focused on her. I know that Hanako can see everyone staring at our group, specifically at her, because they know if there's a problem, it has to be her. Everyone knows her, and it's the first thing everyone would leap to. Her reputation for being a truant has marked her as an unusual person, even in unusual Yamaku. Who knows how many times they've stared at before. Maybe it's because she's seen the class staring at her so much that she fears their gazes like she does, cowering from them. No, she does, cowering from them. The time it takes Muto to walk over must be like an eternity to Hanako, and she looks as if she's about to fall over. Muto quietly begins to ask us what's wrong, before catching himself as he sees Hanako. Did we upset her? Don't worry. Muto bends down after calming Misha and looks intently at Hanako's face. Hi, Ikazawa. Can I help you at all? His voice is hushed and gentle. Everyone's acting so differently around Hanako now that the whole class has noticed something's wrong with her. Hanako doesn't respond, so Muto gently rests a hand on her shoulder. She starts shaking at his touch, but won't even look up. Good God. Oh my God. Hanako continues to stare into the equations on her desk, vision so unfocused that I doubt she even sees them. She's worse than before. I remember not even an hour ago she was able to talk to him almost normally. Muto grimaces a bit as he stands again, and now his expression's changed. I can see he wasn't exactly unaffected by what happened either. He takes a breath to settle himself before speaking in a very quiet voice. I'm a little impressed at how quickly he takes control of the situation. Is that it? Nothing's wrong then? Muto seems to say that to no one in particular. However, his words sound convincing enough that... Oh, I see. Is that it? Nothing wrong then? Okay, I see. Enough to most people who were looking over at Hanako now turn away, getting back to their work. Gives a quick glance to his left and right. Several people at their desks around us are still staring curiously, but other than that, we seem to have escaped attracting too much attention. Muto notices me doing the same thing as him and smiles a little in his usual stilted way. I think for Ikazawa's sake, it would be good I think for Ikazawa's sake that it would be good to quickly take her somewhere away from others. Naki Hakamashi, could you please take Ikazawa out of the classroom? I'll keep everyone settled, so please don't worry about anything but her, okay? He looks at Misha to tell her to interpret his words for Shizune, but she's already finishing her translation by the time he does so. It's remarkable how little thought she needs to sign. She still looks quite dazed otherwise. Nodding, Shizune and I stand and move to either side of Hanako. Muto steps back to allow some room and talks to the table behind us as some people there have begun to mutter between themselves about what's going on. We look at each other before lowering ourselves in unison, taking one arm around each of our shoulders and lifting. The two of us begin to walk at a slow pace. Don't freak out. To make sure we don't inadvertently hurt her. As much as we try to make this look normal, I'm quite sure there would be many more gazes on us, if not for Muto's distraction. Eventually, thankfully, we reach the door and go through. Nobody outside, so we walk down the hallway. It doesn't seem like it's making her more at ease than she was in the classroom. Finally, I ask if she just wants to sit down. For a while, we simply stay in place and wait for her to say something. Shizune tentatively rubs Hanako's shoulders a little, but there's no response. She's like full-on catatonic. Eventually, she shakes her head a little when Shizune tries again. Both of us are looking at her, so we pick up on it immediately. Shizune's hand again comes to rest on Hanako's shoulder as she awakens, her face lifting to two very worried and anxious people looking at her. She looks at us silently for a while. I'm initially worried she might freak out or do something extreme, but those fears prove unwarranted. I was thinking. As her expression slowly changes from an almost lifeless blank stare to a more normal, withdrawn shyness. She wordlessly lowers her head, her eyes evasively moving to the side. She looks embarrassed, almost ashamed. I want to say something, anything, to help, but I can't, though I don't really know what just happened, or even what caused it. I feel helpless and ashamed of myself for not being of any use. Shizune signs before looking at me. Even without words, I think I can tell what she's asking. I'll take Hanako to the nurse. Is that okay by you? I try to communicate my intentions through hand gestures, but I don't feel like I managed to get through to her very well. Shizune makes a dreary face in response to my gesticulations, confirming my impression. She stabs her finger in the air decisively, first at me, then at Hanako, then towards the stairs. She waits for me to nod before pointing at herself, then pointing at the door to the classroom. I get the feeling Shizune is better at this than I am. I nod at her, since her plan is, after all, the same as mine. Shizune gets ready to make her exit, but she only leaves after looking at Hanako for quite some time. Are you okay with me taking you to the nurse's office? Hanako doesn't say anything or nod, but she stands up in her place by herself, and when I begin to walk, she obediently follows. I've read about people being catatonic before, but I think this is the first time I'm seeing it for myself. She looks extremely tired. After everything that's happened, it's not a surprise. After Hanako slightly oh god, we're going back to the weird, creepy dude. After Hanako slightly takes off her shoes and lies on the bed in the infirmary, the nurse and I take our leave. He shuts the curtain behind us. We both take a seat, and I quietly and thoroughly go through everything that happened in quite some detail. I want to understand what happened, and the nurse has as good a chance as anyone of knowing. He nods thoroughly. He nods throughout my explanation, his face looking troubled as I finish. It must have been troubling for you to see all this. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. I get that she fainted, but I don't really understand anything about why it happened or why she's acting like this. He nods, but his face is clouded. You don't know either? Well, yes and no. It's complicated. I assume you've heard about the concept of patient confidentiality at some point. This is a bit of a minefield in that respect. I'm going to put this pretty bluntly. This is a matter for Ikezawa and me, and her therapist. I moved to protest, but think better of it. I want to deny what he says, but I think this through rationally. What he says makes perfect sense. I understand. Good. I wish I could help you any more, but I think that Ikezawa needs right now isn't somebody prying into her past or her emotions. She just needs somebody to be there for her. She needs a friend. For what it's worth, I think you've done well in bringing her here. Sounds like you and your friends dealt with the situation well too. I'd give you a lollipop for a sticker as a reward, but you might be a little too old for either. I'll take a lollipop. I'll let you lick if you let me lick your lollipop. I'll let you lick my ice cream. I'm not gonna lie, when she froze up and showed that picture, I genuinely had like a weird it was like a tight crushing on my insides there. I don't like that feeling. I don't get that very often. That's weird that game did that to me then. He gives a cocky grin, obviously trying his best to lighten the atmosphere. I'm not really in a laughing mood, but he does manage to get a smile out of me. Thanks. Do you mind if I stay here with Hanako? I appreciate the thought, but I think it would be better to let her rest for now. She'll be back to her dormitory room this evening, so you could visit her then. I agree with him before standing. Oh, I'm gonna get shit from Lily for this. It feels like all I can ever do is around the nurse is humbly agree to what he says. But it was the same with the doctors in the hospital too. The walk back to the classroom is a long one, my mind feeling heavy under the weight of so many things happening so suddenly. Even as I re-enter the classroom, I'm thinking about Hanako. My stomach feels like it's into knots while I think about how to deal with her. Yeah, that's pretty much the thing I got. I still don't know what I'm going to say when I see her again. Thankfully, the class doesn't pay me much heed. There were a couple of questioning glances, but overall, not many people seem to be very aware of what happened. Muto raises his eyebrows to get my attention when I pass by his desk. Naki, I take it Ikezawa's in the infirmary now. Yeah, I took her there, and the nurse said I should let her rest. Muto nods, assuring me that I made the right call. He scratches his chin for a second before rising from his desk. Everyone, I want you to continue with the exercise. Naki, I'll see you in the hallway, please. His speech is hushed, but overall he doesn't seem to be acting too differently from how he usually does. Being a teacher, maybe it's to be expected. As we go out into the hallway, I notice him taking a quick glance left and right to check if there are any students milling around. The hallway is nearly soundless, but I can't think of anything except waiting for Muto to speak. Naki, what do you think the purpose of this school is? To cater to the needs of disabled students? Muto scratches his head as he shakes it. No, if we wanted to do that, we would have built a whole new school from scratch. One floor, talking whiteboards, that kind of thing. Look around, Naki. This school is about giving you all a future that you would have been denied in regular education. Huh? Think of it this way. If we wanted you to graduate and go straight into hospital, do you think we'd have put into this much effort? The bluntness of Muto's statement temporarily stuns me, causing me to forget about the immediate situation. No. That's right. We want you all to leave here as useful members of society. I'm not quite sure I follow you. I have high hopes for you, Naki. You are possibly the first student I've had that gets my lectures. This isn't something that a teacher should be admitting so freely. You could easily take your studies of science well into university. Have you ever considered that? I can't say I have. Well, what have you considered? For your future, that is. I can't say that I put much forward into my future. For a moment, I'm distinctly reminded of Lily questioning me about the same subject. It's only been a little over 5 months since I was gasping for air on the ground. It's too soon to be thinking about the future. And besides, Hanako's problems seem much bigger to me right now. Oh, he's using his illness and Hanako to try and, avoid having to, think about the future and stuff. That said, when I went to university, I went there purely because I didn't know what else to do in my life. which is not always the best reason to go to university. Still have fun, though. Muto gives a disapproving sigh before continuing. Think of this place as an opportunity. Here you have boundless facilities, good teachers, plus the added bonus of the nurse and his staff. You should be doing nothing but thinking of the future. Right. As I raise my head to meet his gaze, a thought occurs to me. It's almost like Muto totally sidestepped the issue at hand. Excuse me, but why did none of the staff seem to care when Hanako skips class? I've seen you watch her walk out of class more than once. Shouldn't you at least say something? Well, Naki, it's not really that simple. Every student here has special needs. If it weren't for that, then we wouldn't have a school here. For example, I wouldn't keep you in class if you were having trouble breathing, would I? But that's not... Well, it is the same thing. She can't handle being around people, so yeah. Muto cuts me off before I can even think about finishing my sentence. Ikazawa's case is very much like that, but instead of CPR or a pacemaker, what she needs is time and space. The faculty was made aware of this from the day she arrived here. Thus, whenever she feels a need to leave classes, we let her do so. And even though she isn't a star pupil, she seems to pass all of her exams, so it hasn't affected her ability to study. Isn't that enough? I open my mouth to protest, but I can't find a fault in his argument. While her condition does at first seem to be wholly physiological, its worst effects have been on her psyche. It still puts me off, though. Isn't he just passing on the responsibility for her problem? Surely she can't go like this for her entire life. I understand that you might not be used to this kind of thing yet. It's been a big change for you. That said, it's less than a year until graduation now. Maybe you won't have to get used to this school if you keep your head down. I'm sure you'll do well enough in your exams. I numbly nod, more to simply acknowledge that I'm listening than out of agreement. I felt like I was getting used to this school, but it feels like it's just been thrown back into my face. But what about Hanako? I believe, well, I hope, that she will perform well enough to do what she wants to do. What that is, I don't know. Not all students leave school with an idea of what they want to do, unfortunately. He takes care to emphasize the last words, as if it wasn't quite clear enough already, and gives me a moment to mull his words over. Today's been a troublesome day for you. I doubt you'll be able to concentrate much anyway after all that's happened, so I'll allow you to take the rest of the day off. Oh yeah, woo! Hanako coming through again! With the days off. You cold-hearted bastard. Your marks have been good in this class so far, which makes me think that you won't have any trouble catching up on what we're doing. He gives a small smile along with his praise, as if to make up for the seriousness of his lecturing before now. Go collect your things, and I'll see you tomorrow. Right, thank you. Muto's roundabout speech has left my thoughts scattered. I'm still not any closer to working out what I can do to help Hanako, if anything. My mind is all the more confused about what Muto said. I'm also still bothered by the fact that Hanako was helped at least as much by Shizune, her enemy by proxy, as by myself. But I don't know whether that is just male bravado or genuine concern. While I collect Hanako's and my things from the class, I continue to try and sort out my feelings. I want to say that I understand her and that I'm there for her, but while I might have been able to say that just yesterday, I can't say it now. I wish I could. I lay on my bed trying to collect my thoughts. After Hanako's attack, I found myself fundamentally reassessing the relationship we share and what I know about her. I had a hard enough time dealing with 4 months in the hospital. One look at her scars tell me that she was in one for a lot longer than I was. Be that as it may, I knew next to nothing about her past. She has told me about the house fire, but only in the most basic way. And what of her family? I still haven't asked Lily about them. There hasn't been a good opportunity to bring it up. I don't know where she grew up, or what her old school was like, nor of her past friends, her wishes and ambitions, not even her taste in music, food, and movies. All the little things that I knew about all my old friends. Just what have I been doing for all this time I've been with her and Lily? In the distance, I hear the bells signaling the end of class. With any luck, Lily will soon realize that neither Hanako nor I are around and return to the dormitories. My mobile starts to ring. Uh-oh, he's gonna get shit now, isn't he? Cutting my thinking short, it quite startles me, as I've rarely been called since coming to Yamaku. Hello? Hisao Nakai speaking. Oh. Hisao, I'm glad I found you. You weren't at any of our usual places, so I thought that this would be the fastest way to contact you. I probably should have guessed it would be Lily. She's one of the few people I've given my number to. Even though even for the phone, her voice sounds slightly on edge. Hanako and I left class early. She had some kind of panic attack. The line goes silent. If it weren't for the background static, I would have thought Lily had hung up on me. I understand. Could you come by my room? I'd like to talk with you. Sure, I'd appreciate the chance to have a bit of a talk, actually. Good. I also have some bad news. I think we should discuss this in person. It's hard to grasp the seriousness of the situation from Lily's tone. She sounds so calm most of the time, but that could be a good or bad thing, depending on how you look at it. Okay, I'll be right there. I collect Hanako's school things from my desk and head straight for Lily's room. And that is the end of that, guys. We'll find out what's happening next time. I'm gonna record another one straight after this because I really want to know. The feels, man, that got me when she was when she had the panic attack. That generally got me. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I did, and I will see you next time. Yeah, bye.